Help me reach 1,000 subscribers. Please, like the video and share your thoughts. In the comments, your feedback helps. Make the content better. The laughter in the room felt light, airy, but sharp, like it carried an edge I hadn't noticed before. I'd just taken a sip of sparkling wine, feeling the bubbles tickle my throat, and said something I thought was playful, teasing even. Sometimes I wonder if I should just replace you with someone younger. I joked, twirling the stem of my glass. The dinner guest chuckled politely, the kind of laugh that fills awkward spaces. But then he spoke, and the air didn't just shift, it snapped. I'd rather be old and with you than young and with anyone else, he said, calm, measured, but piercing enough to slice through my joke like a scalpel. The room froze. Forks hovered midair. Glasses stopped tinkling. My heart thudded against my ribs, not in amusement, but in sudden, sharp fear. He smiled softly and added, "Even if I weren't here, I'd hope you'd never find someone to make you forget me, because nothing ever could." Silence lingered, heavy, suffocating, as everyone processed the unexpected gravity in his words. And then it hit me, the dread I had been trying to ignore for months. The patience he'd shown, the quiet demeanor, the faint traces of perfume on his shirts, the late nights at work, the phone left face down on the counter. It was all deliberate, too precise. He wasn't oblivious. He had known. We'd been married 8 years. In the beginning, I thought we were unshakable. Passionate nights, laughter that could fill a room, shared dreams, whispered secrets. But somewhere along the line, the threads had begun to fray. I noticed the little things. The pauses before he answered questions, the tension in his posture when I mentioned work or friends. I convinced myself it was normal. Everyone has off days. Everyone hides little truths. Except this wasn't little. It started that morning, the day I almost laughed about replacing him. I was scrolling through my phone, glancing at messages from someone I shouldn't have been talking to. He entered the room quietly, holding 2 mugs of coffee, his calm smile in place. "You've been texting a lot lately," he said, not accusing, just stating it like fact. I froze, screen glowing like a confession in my hand. "It's nothing, just friends." I lied, voice lighter than I felt. "Friends, huh?" His smile didn't waver, but his eyes darkened. "Funny, I haven't seen you laugh at their jokes the way you laugh at mine." I swallowed. I wanted to deflect, change the subject, but he didn't let me. He simply waited, patient and still, like a storm gathering before it hit. That night at dinner, the tension was unbearable. I tried to laugh off my cruel little joke, hoping it would mask the guilt, the worry, the shame. But his comeback wasn't a witty retort. It was a mirror reflecting everything I'd been hiding, everything I was denying. I caught his gaze across the table. Steady, piercing, naked, my stomach twisted. I wanted to disappear, but the world around us, friends, family, clinking glasses, kept me tethered to reality. Later, when everyone had left, I confronted him in the quiet of our apartment. I didn't mean it. I whispered, voice trembling. It was just a joke. He looked at me, really looked, and for the first time in years, I saw the hurt in his eyes. Not anger, not exactly. Betrayal. Disbelief that the woman he trusted most could even think to betray him so carelessly. Joke. His voice low, every word heavy. "You've been lying to me, sneaking around, hiding messages, keeping secrets. And you call it a joke?" I couldn't answer. My throat tightened. My heart pounded. The truth was worse than any words I could speak. I started, but he held up a hand. "Don't." That single word silenced me more effectively than any shouting could. The next few days were unbearable. We passed each other like strangers in our own apartment. His silence was more eloquent than confrontation. No accusations, no yelling, just his presence, the weight of knowledge pressing down like a tangible force. And I realized in that gut-wrenching moment, he didn't need to confront me. He already knew everything. I tried to act normal, maintain my routine, but every glance, every touch reminded me of what I had done. He would catch me staring at my phone and simply sigh, shaking his head slightly, a silent reminder that my betrayal wasn't hidden from him. Not really. Finally, one evening, he sat me down on the couch. The dim light cast shadows across his face. I braced for anger. Instead, there was calm. Terrifying, measured calm. "I don't know why you did it," he said quietly. "Loneliness? Boredom? A need to feel wanted? I don't know, but I know you think this changes everything. And it doesn't." I stared, incredulous. "It doesn't?" "No," his gaze unwavering. "I've always loved you. Even when you weren't honest, even when you were tempted by someone else. My love didn't disappear. But I need to know, are you willing to fight for us? To be honest, truly honest." Tears blurred my vision. I wanted to tell him everything. The late-night messages, the stolen moments, the guilt gnawing at me daily. But words felt fragile, inadequate, incapable of undoing the damage. I don't know if I can fix this," I admitted, voice breaking. "I don't know if I can make it right," he said, taking my hands in his. His touch was familiar, comforting, yet firm, a reminder of the boundaries I had crossed. "Start by being honest," he said softly. "No more jokes, no more lies. Just truth. Can you do that?" I nodded, unable to speak. And in that silence, something shifted. Not healed, not forgiven, but a fragile thread of possibility began to weave itself between us. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, painfully, deliberately, I confessed everything, every detail, every hidden thought. He listened, not with judgment, not with fury, but with an intensity almost unbearable. Each confession, each truth laid bare, became a small trembling step towards something like trust. We didn't talk about the future. Not yet. We didn't pretend the past hadn't happened. But we began to rebuild, piece by fragile piece, the life we had almost destroyed. Months later, one evening, I made a small, tentative joke about something trivial. He laughed. Not the biting sarcasm of before, but a warm laugh that reached his eyes. I realized then love, even battered and bruised, could survive betrayal. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting. It's about seeing someone fully, flaws and all, and deciding their worth outweighs their mistakes. That night, I held him close. "I don't ever want to replace you," I whispered. He kissed my forehead. "Good," he murmured, "because no one ever could." The silence that once suffocated us had been replaced by something fragile, yet real. And finally, I understood the weight of trust, the cost of betrayal, and the extraordinary power of love that refuses to let go. Even when everything seems lost, we were still here. And for the first time in a long time, I believed we could survive.